Hey everybody, welcome back to Running on Disney. Today we are going to be talking about me in that we are going to talk about some of my favorite things. I thought it was time for me to do a kind of getting to know you video, and so you might be able to tell because I'm wearing my mini hat. But the way I thought to do this was to tell you all about my favorite Disney things. So let's get started. So I thought I would break this down into different categories, like my favorite Disney blank, and give you the rundown. My favorite Disney movie. There's so many to choose from, but I'd have to say my all-time favorites, I had to pick two because I couldn't make my mind up, are either going to be 101 Dalmatians, the animated version, or Atlantis: The Lost Empire. Both of those have had a stronghold on my childhood, like those formative years. I had Dalmatian everything when I was little. I had Dalmatian clothing, bathing suits, flip-flops, beach towels, stuffed animals, you name it, I probably had it in Dalmatian. And Atlantis, I'm gonna preface this by saying I'm a big history buff. That's something that my dad and I share. And while Atlantis isn't factual history, we can't prove that it did or did not exist, it's still, people actually believe that it did, as opposed to like the princesses or the talking animals that Disney is otherwise known for creating. So this one was really big in forming my love for history and creating that bond that I now have with my father. Also because the Disney princess in that movie is amazing. She's amazing. I love Princess Kida. But that movie came out, I believe, when I was in kindergarten. So back in the good old days when you only went for half a day. And I'm sorry if you can't relate to that, or if you were one of the few that were in my generation that your school actually moved to full day kindergarten. But this is how much I loved this movie. So I was a Daisy Scout, and for those of you who don't know what that is, that's the little like baby step before you get into Girl Scouts. Like you go Daisies, Girl Scouts, Brownies, or I might have that confused, whatever. But I was a Daisy Scout, and we were getting ready to have our big kind of like end of the school year sleepover type thing. And I had gotten sent home from PM kindergarten with a slight fever or a big fever. I'm not entirely sure what it was anymore. I wasn't feeling well. And my mom and dad were like, well, if you're not feeling good, you're not going to this Girl Scout sleepover. And I cried. And I cried. And I'm pretty sure I threw a fit. But yeah. So, long story short, it was probably maybe 15 minutes before we had to leave to drop me off, and my fever had gone down enough that they could be like, you know what, fine, we'll take you, and if you have to get sick and come home, if you get sick and have to come home, then boo to you. And the reason I threw a fit, besides the fact that I was going to get to sleep over with my friends, was I was going to show them Atlantis: The Lost Empire because I was obsessed. That was another VHS I wore down to the very thin shreds. So that one has been such a staple for me. I ended up buying the Blu-ray DVD digital combo pack when it got re-released, and we've watched it so many times that my husband won't watch it. If we're figuring out what movie to watch and I say Atlantis, he hard passes on it. So, but yeah. So those are my two favorite Disney movies. And thus that brings me into my favorite Disney princess. There is so many to choose from that it made this decision kind of difficult, just because I mean, if you would have asked me this in 2002, it would have been a snap because we had like 5 or 6 max. And now it's expanded so much, and it includes a bunch of different people. And this is where this one got a little tricky, because the little young me that sits on my shoulder is like, Belle, Belle, Belle. Whereas the slightly more grown-up me that sits on my other shoulder was like, not that one. But, so I'm going to pick 2. I'm going to cheat a lot as far as my favorite for a lot of these. And it is between Belle and Princess Kida from the Atlantis movie. Belle fulfills a childhood goal for me. There wasn't a lot of Disney princesses that looked like me as a child. But the more grown-up me also sees Princess Kida, one of the most underrated Disney princesses. I'm not going to get into it. But as somebody who I can look up to now, she's fierce, she's brave, she's not afraid to stand up and fight. She's authoritative, and she was also the first Disney princess to become queen. Which brings me to my favorite Disney animal. This one was tough because some of these are more traditional animals, and some of these are kind of the more humanoid, talking, walking around on 2 legs types of animals. So, or somewhere in between. But again, this list is crazy. There's a bunch, but what it really boils down to is who has been with me from the start. And that would be Lucky from 101 Dalmatians. And to just prove my point here, if you bear with me for one moment, you can see a very stark contrast. This is a Dalmatian that I have had probably since I was 3. I know it looks like it's been a while since he's been washed, because it probably has, because he was sitting in a box for over a year. That was a hard pill to swallow. Whereas this one, my loving and adoring husband got me when we first started dating. I think he had come down to visit after New Year's, our first New Year's together, and we went to the mall and he bought me this. And as you can see, it is actually Lucky because of the horseshoe spot markings. So yeah, just a little obsessed. Any Dalmatian that I've ever had, like stuffed animal, I haven't had any of the actual dogs yet, although that is a goal, has been named Lucky, even if it was very obviously not Lucky. For instance, I had another stuffed animal that was actually Patch from 101 Dalmatians. Like, he had like the little logo on his collar and everything. He was Lucky. So I was very, very obsessed as a child, and kind of still am. But yeah, so that's probably gonna be my my favorite Disney animal, just because he's cute and he was the underdog and nobody thought he was gonna make it, and he did. He almost froze to death, but he did. So yeah, I'm gonna put them down now. That's horrible. That's a really bad joke. Pardon my pun. Moving right along, the next big category is favorite Disney Pixar movie. This one kind of hurt my husband because we were sitting up and I was talking my list through to him, and none of the movies that I named he would have picked. He would have been like, I mean, not that they are bad in his eyes, just he has a very specific love for Toy Story. And while I like Toy Story and I can appreciate Toy Story, it is not my favorite Disney Pixar movie. In fact, I couldn't pick just one because there are 3 on my list that I would sit down and watch any day, with no children around being the big part. Because I'll sit and watch Toy Story if my cousins want to, just because it's something for us to do. But those would be Cars, Finding Nemo, and Brave. Cars, that was the first movie I ever saw at a drive-in. So that was very special to me, just like completely off topic. But Finding Nemo. Finding Nemo is... I don't think you can meet a person out there who they don't like it on some level. I was kind of obsessed. Kind of like how I named all of my stuffed animals, my stuffed Dalmatians Lucky. I also named all my goldfish Nemo for a good year and a half. So, yeah. Plus the story is cute and he touched the butt. And then Brave, again, it kind of goes back to why I chose Belle and Kida as my favorite princesses. She's strong, she's sure of herself for the most part. She's not afraid to take a stand and fight for what she believes in. Plus, I really like the cultural impacts, and so does my husband. So that's something that we can bond over. My favorite Disney song. I do not think you can have an easy time picking a favorite Disney song. There is so much to choose from. There are so many amazing collaborations, award-winning songs that it's a hard category to really nail a winner. And I had a lot of struggle with this because there are so many, and all of my favorite Disney movies have such an amazing soundtrack. My husband will say my favorite song is At Last I See the Light from Tangled, because if I'm sitting around or if I'm cleaning or doing something, that's the song that I sing. And I had to really think about this, and I had to search the recesses of my YouTube listening history. I Want to Be Like Other Girls from Mulan 2, probably up there as my favorite, if not my favorite all the time, at least high enough up there. It's one of the one songs that if it comes on, I will listen to it all the way through and probably repeat it once or twice. But that was from the straight-to-DVD sequel. Not a lot of people watched it because Disney has kind of a letdown habit of direct-to-DVD or VHS sequels. Obviously, there are always exceptions to the rules, but that one is probably my favorite on a more consistent basis. So, and I'll put a link to one of the lyric videos down in the description box if you've never heard it. I think it's fun. There's this one line, and it gets repeated a couple times, to eat a whole cake, because apparently that's what normal girls do. If only I could eat a whole cake. Besides the fact that I just somebody would have something to say about it, I don't think I could sit there and eat a whole cake. You get to the point, whether it's halfway through, a quarter of the way through, 3/4 of the way through, where you're just So, I'm sure it was a very lovely image. I couldn't see it. But it's fun, it's light, it's uplifting, and the movie the climax kind of just goes down from there. So, it's a little nice ray of sunshine before the poop hits the fan. My next one is my favorite Disney dog. This one kind of was a little bit confusing because I had to sit there and define for myself what I was going to qualify as a Disney dog. Was I going to do with one of the traditional ones that walk around on 4 legs and don't talk? Or don't talk, obviously, or that act like a normal dog would? Or was I going to do just the ones that stand upright and walk and talk like Goofy? I think I just had decided, I'm going to include all of them, and if it works, it works, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. But I ended up coming to a decision. It is just a normal dog. It doesn't, in this case, it doesn't talk. It walks around on 4 legs. But Oddball from 102 Dalmatians, so the sequel to the live action, because it is live action, there is a puppy who, as you know, if you've watched 101 Dalmatians, or if you know anything about breeding Dalmatians, they aren't born with their spots. Those spots come in a couple of weeks. And that was a big deal within the first film, because Cruella wanted a puppy fur spotted coat. But Oddball is one of the ones that doesn't get her spots in the beginning. So she's cute and she's quirky, and as cute and quirky as a non-talking real life dog can be. But she's cute. She's so cute. And she was the theme for my 3rd or 4th or 5th birthday. I want to say third, probably wrong, but so yeah, Oddball is definitely my favorite Disney dog. So now we're going to get into the little bit more interesting things for the last 3. This is more of the real world of Disney, not the animated or the film. It is favorite Disney parks, rides, attractions, what have you. So my favorite Disney park, one of them's not gonna be that shocking, the second one is Magic Kingdom, obviously, because that's where almost all of your movies are going to be. Winnie the Pooh, Haunted Mansion, Beauty and the Beast, although it's not really a ride, it's a restaurant, but you know, Dumbo, Aladdin, Pirates of the Caribbean, whatever you like, it's going to be there. So, I mean, how can Magic Kingdom not be one of your favorites? And then also, and this is going to probably be an unpopular opinion, so sound off if this is also your favorite Disney park. Epcot. Because, and again, this probably goes in with my history buff, attention to detail, OCD behavior, but I like that it's not just all futuristic, or it's not just the aquarium, the Seas with Nemo and Friends, and it's not just the World Showcase, it's all of that. So you don't have to be super techie or super into the ocean or super into culture to like it. There's a little something for everyone. And there's also, I don't like that there's the stigma that it's an adults only park. I mean, granted, don't get me wrong, there is going to be a lot of things that as an underage person you're not going to be able to enjoy. For instance, I'm looking forward to trying an alcoholic sampler from each of the different countries when we go in December. That was something I wasn't able to enjoy last time, but I still really enjoyed Epcot. There's the 2 rides in the World Showcase Pavilion. You have the 3 Caballeros ride in the Mexico Pavilion, and the Frozen Ever After, or Frozen, whatever the ride is called, in Norway. Now, that was not there the last time I was there. That was made pretty recently, and pretty recently for me is within the last 7 years. So, but when I went, it was the Viking Norway ride. But, so there's those 2 rides if you have kids, but the Disney princesses make appearances. That's something that I like. I know that Snow White, I think she was in the Germany Pavilion when I went. I'm not sure if that's accurate. I don't know if that's where her story takes place. But, I mean, there's sightings all over the place. There's, Mission Space and Spaceship Earth. There's the agriculture one, and I'm blanking, and I feel so embarrassed that I'm blanking. There's the Seas with Nemo and Friends. There's like the little Nemo ride. The Coral Reef restaurant, which if you've never eaten there, I would recommend. The food is amazing. And not just you don't want to just go for the food, because it's good. I enjoy the food. It might not be everybody's cup of tea because it is a seafood restaurant, but the entire wall, like an entire wall on the side of the restaurant is a glass aquarium. Like, there's big fish, little fish, tiny fish. It's a sight to behold, and then you'll see divers going in there and cleaning or expecting or what have you, feeding. So it's an experience. I had a little bit of a panic attack when we ate there, just because I was like, if this thing breaks, we're all dead. But it's cool. It's really relaxing. It kind of has mellow music. It's not like bright in your face lights. It's kind of dimmed. So that's where my dad likes to eat whenever we go to Disney. So we're eating there when we go in December. But that's one of those features that's also at Epcot. So there's a lot going on, and it's beautiful, and the intricacy and the details of the World Showcase countries. Sorry. It's exactly what you would expect from Disney. I mean, they never do anything halfway. So I really like that. My favorite Disney ride. So I decided that I was going to narrow this down by park, and I was going to have 4 different rides. So Soarin' for Epcot, because I love the immersive experience. I'm pretty sure they blow Scentsy stuff in your face. I might just be losing it, because I'm pretty sure when we were going over the pine forest, I actually smelled pine, but that just could be my brain making up that smell. But and the scenery is beautiful, and you feel like you're right there, like you're in like a hang glider, and I adore it. In Hollywood Studios, this one was kind of hard because there's a lot of good rides at Hollywood Studios, even back when I went 7 years ago. The family favorite was definitely the Toy Story Midway Mania shooting gallery, the video 3D ride. So that one was a big success for my family because it was something we could all do, because my parents don't really do heights and fast, and that's kind of, at that point, it was Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster. Like, those were the 2 big staples, and I know I'm forgetting a bunch, and I'm gonna need to make a list of all the rides that I need to do in Hollywood Studio. But so for family, definitely Toy Story Midway Mania, but for me personally, Rock and Roller Coaster featuring Aerosmith, because it kickstarted my love for rock music, my own love for rock music. So definitely up there. For the Magic Kingdom, gosh, this one was hard. Because, like, for the little kid in me, Winnie the Pooh. Just because I'm unhealthily obsessed. As a 23-year-old, I should probably be over this by now, but I'm not. But, so either Winnie the Pooh for the little kid me, or for the older kid me, Haunted Mansion, Splash Mountain, or Pirates. And I know I said I was going to narrow it down to 1 per park, but when you're in a park like Magic Kingdom that's so heavy on the rides, it's hard to pick just one. So yeah, one of those 3 as far as like the big kid rides go. And then for Animal Kingdom, gosh, see, I was in kind of like such a haze when we went through there. Keep in mind, this was 7 years ago, so Pandora hadn't been built yet. It was still everything. I think the newest attraction that they had put in there was Expedition Everest. So either, and again, I'm going to cheat a little with my own rules, either Expedition Everest or the Kilimanjaro Safari. Expedition Everest, because I actually got to get my dad on a fast roller coaster. He doesn't like heights where he can see outside, so the fact that this took place mostly in a mountain, he liked. And the fact that he will be turning 70 while we're there, and he still wants to go and do that ride is amazing. So we'll be doing that one. And then Kilimanjaro Safari, because you get an experience that on this continent, it's very hard to get. You get to be up close and personal. Like, I wouldn't want to be up close and personal with a lion, but you get to be as close as you possibly can to these animals in a natural type of habitat. Now, obviously, it's not natural. Their natural habitat is the plains in Africa, but you're not separated by a thing of glass. You're more in their setting, and I really liked that. So yeah, those are my favorite rides. I kind of went off on tangents. I broke some of my rules because it's hard to pick just one, especially in the Magic Kingdom. Which leads me to my last category on this adventure, which is my favorite Disney snack. There's so many to choose from because there's the Mickey pretzels, there's Mickey waffles, there's the churros, there's the Dole Whip, and then not even getting into like the certain foods that come up during special times of the year. So it's definitely hard. I'm gonna stick to something that I ate at the park and I actually got to eat at home as well. So I'm gonna do the Mickey Mouse ice cream bar, the one that's on a stick that has like the hard chocolate shell and the vanilla ice cream in the middle. I was able to get it when we were down in Disney World the last time. And then for Mickey's 90th birthday, they sold them in stores. And I don't know if they're still selling them in stores. I got mine at the local H-E-B or Walmart. But I haven't seen them, but I also haven't gone grocery shopping in a while. My husband tends to do that. But that was nice. And that is my favorite type of ice cream bar, is the kind like the hard shell with the vanilla in the middle. But so yeah, that is everything I have for you guys today. I hope you get to know me a little bit better. Sound off in the comments what your favorites are for each of these categories. I love talking about Disney. Even if you disagree with one of my assessments, let me know because I want to know your take. Anyway, I hope you guys have a magical weekend, and I will see you guys back next time. Bye!